And Ria is on our Industry Advisory Board.
I did, and I missed the memo about this being for recent graduates. I was so keen to come and talk to you. I was like, I'm 12 years out, I'm going to come and talk to you.
Yeah, you don't have slides, right?
I don't have slides.
So we can leave the lights on?
We can leave the lights
on.
Thank you. So I graduated criminology in 2005 with a cross major in human services. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why I chose the Griffith and that career pathway and how I ended up to where I am now. So I'm the Domestic Violence Integrated Response Manager here on the Gold Coast for Domestic Violence Prevention Centre. We're a nationally and internationally recognised organisation for what we do in integrated responses for DV. Very fortunate to have the role. It's really tough, but it's amazing. And I can genuinely say my whole career and my studies and everything led me to the point where I am right now. So I wanted to kind of talk about finding the work that you love, right? So we hear about find the work that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So for me that's based on 4 things. I think there's a Japanese, finding the reason, the meaning. So finding the work that you love, what you're good at, what you can get paid to do and what the world needs. And I think there's probably plenty of stuff that says, you know, technology's taking over and what that means for careers in the future. There's always going to be a place for human services and criminology is smack bang at the middle of some of that. So why Griffith? There is no other choice when it comes to criminology. It's the best course in so many ways. It's defining what criminology means in the industry. Griffith's leading research that informs policy and practice across all of our government, that's informing how we do things, why we do things. Being part of the Industry Advisory Board has helped actually shape everything. So Griffith is listening to where the jobs are and matching the courses that you're doing to that so that you increase your chances of getting a job at the end. Knowing what you're good at, and so that's a huge part in the decision you're going to make about which course you want to do and what career you want to follow. Knowing what you're good at is what you're going to be successful at. It's what's going to get you through a career path and through a ladder into permanent jobs because you'll naturally do it well. You're going to find in courses when you go through, you're going to get better results in some courses. It's naturally going to come to you. You're going to want to participate in the conversations in the class. Listen to that, listen to your heart in that because that will give you a really strong pathway about where to go. There's huge investment happening in the industry at the moment. Probation parole is a perfect example of that. Unfortunately, some of the challenges that we have, which means criminology is relevant, is about human behaviour, and there's a lot of work to be done there. No more space than domestic violence. Finding what you're good at is about doing the work you love, but it's also about making a difference in the world, right? So if you're doing a job that you know contributes to something bigger, it's going to be really easy to do that, and that's why I'm where I am with Domestic Violence Prevention Centre. I think I started my career, I was able to, and I encourage this so much, the work experience opportunities with Griffith was another reason for choosing Griffith. So before I'd even graduated, I was connected in with probation and parole, and I didn't even skip a beat to get a job. I went into an environment where I was learning still, and I was safe to learn, and it gave me a pathway into a job. In any other job you go into, you've got to learn whilst being paid and being judged. As a student, you can just succeed. So go in as a student in a work environment, a work placement type of environment, and test a few things out. Take a few on, do volunteering, get in and learn about the agency and find out why the agency, what their values are, and connect that with who you are, and you're onto a winner. So Domestic Violence Prevention Centre is probably not the traditional pathway that you would look at from criminology. If you were doing a cross major or a dual degree in human services, maybe. The reason I say that is because Domestic Violence Prevention Centre primarily works with victims and women. And it's not necessarily a criminology degree pathway. However, the director and myself are both criminology graduates. The reason and what attracted us both to Domestic Violence Prevention Centre was actually working with men who perpetrate domestic violence, because we understand that the only way to stop the violence is to work with the people that are perpetrating it. We're not actually going to prevent violence working with victims. We're going to be able to wrap a whole bunch of safety and support around them, but we're not going to be able to prevent it. So I actually started my career at probation and parole and did 11 years working probation and parole to connect me with the DVPC. And a colleague will talk in a minute about how, I suppose, the business of domestic violence and the fact that so many of the causes, and I'm sure in every course that you're going to talk about the causing of offending behaviour, there is going to be a domestic violence tone under all of it. I highly encourage you to focus on domestic violence no matter what your career pathway is, because it will intersect with everything. If you want to be a police officer, 60% of your call-outs are going to be domestic violence related. If you want to be prosecutions, if you want to go into the courts, it's a significant amount of that workload. Youth justice, probation and parole, it's everywhere. What else? Well, what the world needs. I won't go all philosophical on you, but if you're contributing to a higher purpose, it's pretty easy to love your job. I don't know what else. Follow your gut. You'll know where you fit. You don't want to be in a workplace where you don't fit. So test that out. Get in it as a student and volunteer. As a volunteer, there's less expectations on you, I suppose. You're value adding, and that's a great place through your work placements and things like that to really test out where you fit. And do that early if you can. So I believe, particularly on the Gold Coast, you've got the 50 credit point. You can do it earlier on in your degree. It's like not a placement, it's something else. Community internships, do them. Do a variety of them and test out what you're thinking. It'll help you also pick your courses as you go through. A great way to do it, and Griffith's the only uni that I know that does it, so go forth. That's all I've got. Come and talk to me afterwards. I'll talk to you about probation, parole and DV, but thank you.